Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday to you all. I hope you've all had a great week. Adele Atton here from Dare to Be Authentic and Your Healing Path. This week we have been focusing on perspective. So I just want to, this topic never actually really goes away because perspective really is, it's all about you. It's all about you. When you decide that you want change in your life, it's about your perspective on your life at the moment. When you decide where you want to go in life, it's about your perspective on what that would mean to you. So even though, the focus this week has been all about perspective, the focus overall, whether you tap into this group each day or whenever you get a chance to tap into this group, or whether you and I are working together, it's all about you and your perspective. When we talk about mindset, it's about you and your perspective. Because you know what? It is all about you. It really is all about you. When I am working with clients, whether it be in the 90-day program or whether it's, some of the clients that I still have in the energetic field, one of the hardest things, one of the most confronting things that people have to face is that their reactions are wholly and solely based on, are you ready for this? Their opinion of themselves. There's no two ways about it. If you are having some sort of negative reaction to a situation, or to something that someone has said to you, or something that you see, or something that you hear, it's triggering something in you about how you feel about yourself. Now, before you all throw your arms up in the air and go, oh, that's a load of poppycock. It's not. Quite simply, it's not. Every reaction that you have is based on your life experiences, how you have made yourself feel and how other people have made you feel. And every single time, it speaks to your worth. Every single time. Now, it could be situations around value, or like how you value yourself. It could be around respect. It could be about acceptance or success or achievement. It all comes back to your sense of worth. All of it. All of it. Wrap your head around that for a little bit. Now, the reason that's confronting, I can already feel it, a few of you that are watching this are being triggered by that thought alone. No, that's bullshit. No, that's bullshit. It's no. I'm fine with who I am. It's not about me. Them. How can they behave like that? Why is their behaviour triggering you? Why is that, a particular set of behaviours sets off this reaction in you? What is it touching in you to make you react that way? Perspective. How you look at life, how you look at yourself. and how you look at other people. Judgment comes into it. Huge. Judgment's huge. What happens when we deny the fact that our reactions are triggering things in us? Is we are actually giving someone else power and control over our life, over our emotions. And the extension of that is that we end up blaming other people for the way we feel. So disempowering. Blaming someone else for the way that you feel rather than taking responsibility for it. I don't get it. Well, I do get it. I do get it, because it's a much easier way to say it's their fault that I feel this way. It's their behaviour that makes me feel this way. That's a much easier way to deal with it. The much harder way of dealing with it is to look inside yourself and go, well, hang on a sec, what is this triggering in me? That's how you start taking responsibility for yourself and for your life. So when I am working with people, and something comes up and they have, what could be perceived as a negative reaction to a situation, a comment, a person, whatever it might be, I have a process that I go through, and it's a series of short, sharp, quick-fire questions. And I don't want my clients to think before they answer, because that's the brain getting into gear. And the brain does this amazing thing where it filters anything you don't really want, and gives you a different view on how you want to look at things, so that you avoid all the nasties like the fear and the hurt, and you steer clear of anything that might wound you. So what the brain does, the heart goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and the brain goes, oh, we're going into panic, let's steer away from that. So when I'm talking to my clients and something does come up, I don't want them to think when I'm asking them a series of questions, because that first answer, that's the answer that, once we get through a series of questions, that's the answer that talks to the core of the issue. So I'm going to run through a couple of the things, a little bit of what happens when you're trying to identify why you are being triggered, and what it's actually, what is actually being triggered. So, and these are questions you can apply to yourself. If you lose your shit and you're trying to work out what's going on, why did I lose a seemingly little circumstance? It was a seemingly small issue. Why did I lose my shit? So the first thing is, what am I feeling? Snap. What am I feeling? Identify the emotion. Anger, sad, upset, whatever. What am I feeling? Name it. Why did this particular situation make me feel this way? And what I mean by that is, what emotion or what motivation is behind that reaction? So here are some questions to ask yourself. Once you've identified it, how do I feel about myself in respect of this situation? If someone is disrespecting me, do I actually respect myself? Do I respect that aspect of my personality? Or do I still have some work to do on that, because I'm really not comfortable with how I live my life in that aspect? The other thing is, where else in my life do I not get satisfaction with this sensation, with this feeling? So again, look, talking about respect. Where else in my life do I feel I'm not getting the respect I deserve? Who else in my life, or in my upbringing, or in my career, doesn't respect the work that I do or who I am? And then you flip it. Do I feel respect towards this person? Yes or no? Now, if you don't respect that person, what aspect of that person don't you respect? And then, do you have that aspect in yourself? Is that what's lacking in you? When I am with my clients, this questioning process, I mean, this is just a sample of the questions that I use, but this questioning process just fires off. It's like this. And then, boom, we get to the core of it. And the client has their breakthrough. And all of a sudden, all of the energy, all the negativity surrounding the issue completely dissipates. Because it's not about the other person, it's about you. And you know, the old saying, no one can make you feel anything you don't want to feel. It's true. It's true. The only person that can control how you feel is you. And probably control is not the right word to use. I would say it's more about understand. Because I'm not a fan of controlling your emotions. You know, all that does is tie everything up in us and cause issues later on. So you don't control your emotions. You acknowledge them, you understand them, you put them out on the table, you look at it and you go, right, well, this is what this is about. Okay, good, let's put that away. So looking at this from perspective, and a different perspective, if you're dealing with someone and they lose their shit, or if they attack you, and I use attack in a very generic term, in a very generic way. If you feel like someone is arcing up because of something you're doing, then that's about them. It's not about you. It's not about you. That's the only, you know, I started off, you know, the heading of this video is it's all about you, because it's always about you. And it is when it comes to your life, your reactions, your emotions, your choices. It is all about you. If someone else is being triggered by something that you're doing or saying, then that's all about them. It's all about them. So guys, the last day we're actually sort of focusing on perspective, and I hope that, you know, this series of videos this week has helped you look at things a little bit differently, and maybe helped you to start changing your mind about things, changing your mindset about how you live your life, how you choose to feel the emotions that you feel, to make the decisions that you make. It's all about perspective. I put up several quotes and little memes all in one post this morning, because there are so many perspectives on perspective. You know, there are so many different ways to think of perspective. Mate, it's as big as the universe, and I keep saying perspective. There are as many perspectives in the world as there are people walking the planet. The one you need to focus on is yours, not anyone else's. You can't change anyone else, and there's no trying to change anyone else. You live by example. You deal with your shit. You start lifting your vibration, and the people around you, they see it, they feel it. They come along if it feels right for them. And they appreciate it. I love it. Guys, happy Friday. And whatever you have planned for the weekend, have a great time. Again, I will probably pop in over the weekend, and probably a little bit later on this afternoon as well. Things are moving on my end. We're getting all sorts of things done in the background, and it's all really, really exciting. So I'll be bringing you some stuff either later today or during the early part of next week about some changes that are happening in the group that I'm very excited about. A few new formats. And thank you for everyone who contributed to Thrash It Out Thursday. I just want to tell you a little bit about that and how it came about. It's, Thursday, people talk about Wednesday being hump day. But Thursday's the day where it's, oh my God, it's almost the end of the week. How am I going to get through to the end of the week? You're over hump day and you just kind of need a little bit of a boost. And I was driving out to see a few clients yesterday, and I just went, I feel like I just need to belt out a good song. Get the body moving, get the lungs working, get the energy pumping. And my favourite song to do that is Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Comes on the radio, crank it up as loud as I possibly can, and just go for it. Just go for it. And without fail, I feel elevated every single time. So Thrash It Out Thursday will continue. And as you go through your day today and go through your days early next week, if something comes on the radio and you get the urge to pump it up and sing along, that might be something you can post next week for Thrash It Out Thursday. Cool. All right, guys. Mwah. Love you all. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. And I'll see you next time I pop in. Bye.